All right, I will be honest. For the past few months, I have been stuck, uninspired, bored, frustrated with my business. I have been in a business funk, if you will, wondering what is the point? Having myself a little business existential crisis, if you will. And it's led me into a fun cycle of unproductivity, demotivation, unproductivity, and so on. And the whole time, my brain is saying things like, why aren't you working harder? You don't get to be frustrated. Get your shiz together. So it has been fun times. I am on the verge of quitting everything and moving to the middle of nowhere and living off the land, even though I have zero clue what that actually entails. I cannot go on like this anymore. Enter my bestie. Say hi to Georgie. Georgie and I met in 2019. We have had a weekly call for the past 3 years talking about our businesses, life, and everything in between, even though we live on literal opposite sides of the earth and opposite time zones. She's in Europe this summer, so we crafted a CEO week for ourselves, and I'm hoping CEO week will dig me out of my business funk. So what's CEO week, you may be asking? Good question. It is 1 week where we'll work on our businesses together, figure out WTF we want to do with our businesses for the next 12 months, and of course recharge our battery and have lots of late night giggles, food, and generally a good time. I need CEO week to hit that reset button. So let's see if this works. So day 1, packing, airport pickup. I was honestly so nervous. I was like, what if nobody shows up at this airport gate and this has just been some weird, elaborate, bizarre online scam? But luckily she did show up, yay. We checked into our hotel, and really the point of day 1 was just for us to unwind together. Like specifically for CEO week, we created and are following a very professional, aka I just made it up right now, 5-part system to this week, which is to unwind, review, get clear, future pace, and then celebrate. And of course I made a Notion plan for this 5-part system for CEO week. This Notion plan is actually loosely based off of my free annual planning template, which I will link below if you want to grab that. So day 1 is just unwinding. We essentially just caught up, talked from 2:30 p.m. till midnight, watched TV, had great food, and honestly, I was just completely in the moment on this date with Georgie. I forgot to film anything, so I think winding down was a success. Morning and welcome to day 2. We headed down to breakfast and then immediately went into the executive lounge. I know, who are we? We're too fancy. So having a look at this week's itinerary, because what's a good fun week without a detailed hour-by-hour plan? Every morning we started out with a little check-in with our businesses, emails, teams, because we can't just leave them stranded. And aside from it just being CEO week, excitingly enough, Georgie is actually launching a new business this week. It's called Sigil. She's beautiful, she's stunning, she's gorgeous. It's a gifting platform, and some of you may know I am a gifting fiend. Gift giving is all of my love languages, 1000%. And of course, I'll leave a link to her new business below, but you will see us launch that business this week as well. So here, I'm just helping Georgie look through Sigil ahead of the launch, sharing any last minute thoughts I have. She's also talking to her team to give them notes and feedback the whole time so we can get it ready for this week. And then we grabbed a quick lunch and wine at an Italian restaurant because why not? All right, so now we are officially diving into the Notion planner, and the first part of that is to reflect and review everything that's happened since she and I last saw each other, aka the last 3 years. And 3 years is a really crazy time frame because the last time Georgie and I saw each other, I was actually a full-time freelancer with no business of my own, no online course whatsoever, didn't even dare to let myself think about having something of my own. So a lot has changed for both of us, and I love this exercise and I can only recommend it to you as well. So let me walk you through that now. So this is a super fun exercise that Georgie introduced to me, and there's essentially 3 parts to this revision process and kind of assessing where you are just in life or in business right now. So the first thing you do is you do memorable moments. So you kind of start with a reflection back on everything that's happened in the past time period of your choice. We chose 3 years because that's since the last time we saw each other. And you write down everything. So good, bad, otherwise, wins, losses, everything you can remember, and give yourself some time to do them. So for example, for me, the past 3 years have been tons of stuff has happened. It's really crazy to think it's only been 3 years, but 3 years also feels like a long time at the same time. So beginning to create DBM Bootcamp, finishing my course, doing the beta round, my launches, deciding to run DBM Bootcamp full time, other wins that I can remember. Also, of course, other frustrations. I wrote down everything that felt good and felt exciting, and also yeah, was just a strong memory during some periods of time. So that's the first thing you do. Then you go into current pressures, where you basically brain dump every single thing that's weighing on you. Anything internally, externally, real or perceived, it doesn't really matter. It's just if you feel pressure about it, either whatever, just really whatever, you write it down. So here, very vulnerably, here are some of my current pressures. So my current state of mind with work, like I mentioned, I had been feeling frustrated, so I just wrote that down. No vision, no clarity. I have no grace for myself, feeling like I've accomplished what I have accomplished, but also that it's not enough at the same time. I have too many ideas for things to do. Traffic is like my biggest pressure always. It's just one of those big things in a business, funnel conversion. I don't feel I have super strong messaging angles, having to continue with 2 YouTube videos every week, not feeling I have real accountability, having to work 8 hours a day. So really everything you can think of, even like macro, microeconomics, inflation, everything that feels like a current pressure, you write down. And then what you do, which I really love, this is from Georgie, where you essentially ask, what do you reckon about these pressures? And this exercise I love because it really puts you into a problem-solving state of mind where you remove yourself almost from the pressures and think, okay, now realistically, what do I think about each of these current pressures? So you just copy over your current pressures and you write, I reckon ... So my current state of mind with work, I wrote, I reckon this is temporary because I haven't figured out what I want. I think once I know what I want, and if I just release the F pressure off myself, give myself grace, my life would be better. So it's like, I feel most of the time we know the answers, or at least we have an inkling of what the answer could be or the solution or what we could try first to our problems. But when we get so stuck in the problem and overwhelmed spiral, it's hard to look at it realistically and be like, okay, what would I tell a friend if she came to me with this pressure, which I think this exercise really helps me with. So no vision, I wrote, I reckon I haven't actually given myself a chance to sit down and sort out my vision. I reckon if I did, I would be able to find some overall direction, maybe not life-changing vision, but direction of some kind. No clarity, I reckon I need to sit down and think it through by myself. I don't know what I want. I reckon I don't think I'm allowed to just want a business that is small and maintains itself. I reckon I owe it to myself to build a huge business. So we're getting real deep here, but yeah, you just write down everything you reckon as it comes up. And I, again, really recommend this exercise because you'll find like, oh yeah, I actually do know how to fix or how to alleviate some of these pressures, or I know it just requires some time, or it requires, some sort of perspective change on my end. So those are the exercises we did on the first day. And honestly, by the end of the I reckon exercise, I already began seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for my work fog, of like my work funk. I was, kind of realizing for the first time there are solutions. Who knew? I was so stuck in overwhelm on my own that I didn't really allow for problem solving or the logical part of my brain to like kick off, So I really like that I had the opportunity to actually think through what are some logical assumptions I can make about these pressures that I have.
And now, defining what success is, it's giving me like the light to the end of this dark tunnel where I haven't felt like I knew what I wanted to do and no clarity on the direction. And now that I'm finally putting the pieces together, good stuff will happen.
And we wrapped up the day with a little swim, dinner, food, and spontaneously there were fireworks, which, I mean, is just something. This day actually also really made me realize how lonely it can be to build a business, and I never thought I would say this, but I miss people. Like, I miss water cooler small talk, which is what, Welcome to day 3. We, as always, started our day by a little check-in with our businesses, first things, emails, calls, team messages, then we dove into the next stage of our framework. So today we are getting clear on what we want out of our businesses, and the popcorn today in the executive lounge was honestly so good. It was a serious distraction for me. We also got some lunch, and we began working a lot on our vision. And beyond just vision, kind of like the why are we doing this? What is the point of all of this? We also talked about some concepts that I think are really important to think about as a business owner, including what is truly success to you? Like, we have some sort of vague idea in our mind, but writing it down was such a good exercise because for the first time I realized like success is actually not to me a dollar sign. Another question that's really interesting to ask is what is enough? Because I think our default is just to ask for more and more and want more and more, but you know, there is a point of enough, so identifying that may be more satisfying because then you know it's something you can reach and feel good at instead of constantly chasing this elusive more, right? And this day I realized truly that I'm working way too much in my business nowadays, and I never really prioritize working on my business, aka figuring out what are the values, like what is the point, where do I want to go? And that's why I was so stuck, not because I didn't have motivation, it was because I didn't have direction. I didn't know which way to go. And so there was really no point because I didn't know the why behind why I was doing lots of things that I was doing. And then we worked on our non-negotiables, which is my favorite thing ever. It's essentially all the things we aren't willing to sacrifice in the pursuit of business goals, like making more money. And I never used to do non-negotiables, but I realized that those of us that want to create lifestyle businesses need these limitations because the business needs to suit us first. That is a lifestyle business, you know? For example, if my goal is I want to make $1 trillion and I solely hyper focus on just that amount, I'll probably end up sacrificing things like time with family and friends, hobbies, my personal interests, having fun, sleep, my sanity to get there. So non-negotiables are essentially saying, this is the line, I want this thing, but here's what I'm not willing to exchange for it. And non-negotiables always come first. And we also randomly found a vegetarian Michelin star restaurant that's 10 minutes away from our hotel and by chance had one free booking the next day, which was totally meant to be. So we booked it since, you know, Celebrate is the last part of our 5-part system. Welcome to day 4. So we spent some time today working on our future pacing, which is just a fancy way of saying looking ahead. In this exercise, you look ahead 1 year and you write yourself a letter as if you are that person sitting in 2023, reflecting back on the last year and everything you've done. And based on all of that work that we've done on the previous few days, we started then batching out everything we wanted to accomplish in the coming 12 months and doing our 12-month plan. And I got such a light bulb moment from Georgie on this day, like I scribbled it down in my notes. She said one of her mentors told her, make business decisions based on what you want to feel versus what you want to achieve. For me, that was like boom, because I know that what I need in my business right now is to feel inspired and fun and excited. And I know I'm not making business decisions based on wanting those things. I'm just kind of like forcing myself to trudge through the work instead. And of course, that's not going to be feeding what you actually need out of your business right now. So that's an interesting exercise to think. Excitingly, also, today was the day that Georgie launched Sigil. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, my heart's beating for you. It's alive. Honestly, I have been talking to Georgie about this business since its inception, since it was a baby idea. I still remember the first time she told me about this idea and I was like, wow, low-key, you're building my dream business. And it feels so whole circle that she set this website live with me in person. And I also, of course, made the first purchase on her site because I had to be the first customer. Duh, that's my privilege and my right as the biz bestie. So we spent more time working and planning our next 12 months, had more popcorn. I think the popcorn is the MVP here. It had like a curry seasoning or something. It was so good. Every time I wrote like one sentence or one word, I had a popcorn and I got a lot of writing done. I did have another light bulb moment here as well, which is the fact that businesses have such different seasons, and what Georgie's baby business, new baby business needs right now is tons of execution to get things done and out the door. But what my business needs right now is clarity and strategy thinking to create direction for the execution that we will do later on down the line. So we completed up the work parts of the 5-part system onto celebrations. We both booked massages. We went to our Michelin star dinner. Honestly, the way there was super sketch. You had to go through this back warehouse I don't know, area. If I hadn't looked up the video of how to get there, I never would have gone down this path. Like, this is super murdery, super opening scene of a CSI episode vibes. Like, my fight or flight was being triggered the whole time, not about it. But anyway, we did end up finding it. We had a fancy / way too expensive dinner to celebrate our time together and reflected, chatted through our big takeaways, and celebrated each other like little dorks. So welcome to day 5. Day 5 is here. It is goodbye day. Sad. It's very sad. We had a few hours before her flight, so we wandered to a market to eat and buy stuff. And honestly, leaving CEO week, my takeaways are to treat my non-negotiables as non-negotiables, take space seriously in my calendar. Not every second of every day needs to be filled with sitting at a laptop and outputting, and allowing fun to be a factor in my business, potentially making decisions based on fun. What? Wild concept. And beyond all that, of course, the biggest shout out to Georgie. I'm so thankful to have a friend that is with me in business and in life. I 10 out of 10 highly recommend getting a biz bestie for yourself. Your life and business will just be incredible if you do it. And this is Gouda cheesy, but I'm honestly leaving CEO week feeling hopeful and curious about what's to come. And that's it. That's the end of the video. I don't even have anywhere to send you or a clever question to ask you either. So as always, and especially today, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye!